In this tutorial, you will learn how to draw this wonderful geometrical motif easily with a pencil and a fineliner. So stay tuned and draw along.
Hi, I'm DrawTut, a draftsman with several decades of experience and a drawing teacher who provides you with various tutorials on drawing, painting and creativity here on YouTube and on my website drawtut.com. So it's worth subscribing to my channel or newsletter to always benefit from my latest tutorials and tips. In addition, I also offer extensive drawing courses on various topics on my website. I have linked a suitable course to this video in the description and here. I would be happy if you visit my website and learn drawing with me. But let's start with the tutorial now.
To draw the motif, we first need to create some very simple geometries. You can do this now with a ruler. I'm going to do it freehand for now and I'll sketch it first. That means you just draw a line here straight. Then we'll make another line down approximately through the middle. You can use an eraser to correct and be careful when sketching, especially with the pencil. Don't press too hard on the paper as we'll erase this line later. It's just a sketch. Now we will try to draw a symmetrical triangle. So you can find the length of each side with your pencil, hold it like that, find the length and then draw a straight line to the middle line, and on the other side you can do the same. So we have now the length of the line and you can now just draw a line down like that, and on the other side the same line. Then we take the motif and consider what other lines could be in it. Perhaps another line runs here just like that. Yes, and we might have a circle here, maybe one that runs through this, going all the way through. You can vary this completely as you like. It's completely up to you how you do it. I'm designing it this way, but of course you can use your own creativity and maybe create another motif, use other circles on other positions. That's completely up to you. And again, I will draw another line over here on this side and of course on the other side too. Like that. And I just check that the length of the lines is the same. It's just a sketch. Be careful that you don't scratch the paper too much. You can now draw other geometrical parts here in your motif, but I will leave it like this, and I will start now with the landscape, and on the top over here I will draw the sun. It's just a circle, and over on the right side we will draw some mountains, and you just draw the irregular line and maybe a few more lines. Just draw them like I do it here, and here we will draw a lake. So you can just draw the line like I'm doing it. And over here I will sketch a few trees. Yeah, one tree here, one tree over here, and one bigger tree in front. Maybe I will create it more like a perspective and put them like that. Yeah, the trees in behind are a little bit smaller, and in the front they're of course very big. And now we can also draw the shape of the trees. I will do it like that. Just a sketch. Sketch them like that. One smaller tree here and the smallest in behind. And now the sketch is more or less ready. So we have some water here, we have a lake, we have some mountains, we have some trees, and that's enough for our motif. I will erase the first parts of the sketch that we don't need for the drawing. And in the next step, we will take the Fineliner. You can choose a size for the Fineliner. I will choose 0.3 and will draw it with a quite normal Fineliner for you. Of course, you can choose how thick your line should be, how thick your Fineliner should be, but for me it will work with a 0.3 Fineliner. But you can also use a thicker one for the thicker lines. That's no problem, but I will draw it with this one. So we will start first with the outer lines, and it's freehand drawing. So if you want to have really perfect lines, so then you should maybe use a ruler. But for you, it would be also a very good exercise if you try to draw the straight lines with your hand. It's a very, very good exercise if you have to do it with Fineliner, because you can't erase these lines anymore. So you have to be very carefully here. And now I will draw them also on the other side. If you want, you can of course rotate your paper so that's easier for you to draw. I will use now a sheet of paper and put them over these lines so that I don't smudge the other lines with my hand. And now I draw the other lines on the other side. So in the first step I draw only the geometrical elements here in my drawing, also the circles over here, and the last circle I will draw then a little bit later. I want to create there an effect, but here I will create now a thicker line. Just draw a second line next to the first one and then fill it out with black. And of course we do it on the other side the same way. And now you can fill the lines to make them a little bit thicker. Also a very good exercise to draw straight lines next to each other. And now I will also take the top lines here, and I will also draw them a little bit thicker now. One line over here, and then this line also a little bit thicker. And in the next step we draw also the mountains. I will just choose and draw here a line like that. Use my sketch to draw the mountains, irregular line, so that it looks more like a mountain. And I draw also the other lines. You can also draw here a few parts of the lines a little bit thicker so that it looks more like a small shadow. And then we draw also a few lines over here. I make them also a little bit thicker in some parts so that more looks like a shadow there. And also over here. And also one line here. So afterwards we will need also a few areas where we have shadow. So I take again my pencil and we have the sun over here. So we will sketch now where our shadows are. So I sketch shadow here, or an area for some shadow over here and also over here. And now we can take again our Fineliner and I will draw straight lines for the shadows. You can use straight lines, but you can also take some other kind of lines, yeah, to draw it. The easiest way is what I do now. I just use straight lines. That's the easiest way for you also. But you can also experiment with other lines or just change the direction of the lines over here. And I draw again the shadow here and another one here. Now I will also draw the sun, so just a circle over here and now we will start also with the lake. So we will draw the water. I will first draw the outer lines of the lake like that. I use my sketch again to draw it, and now we will try and create some lines from the outer lines to the inner side of the lake and create a water effect. Just draw them like I do here. Use the line as the start of this kind of lines, and you can draw a few more, and again on the other side in the same way. Draw a few lines over here and we create more or less a water effect with our Fineliner. Now we can also check where would be the reflection of the sun if we look to the water. So I will again create a small sketch over here and then use a few more lines in the middle again to create this water effect, but leave the area for the reflection of the sun free, so there are no lines like that. And on the other side, of course, too. And that's one way how we can create a water effect with the help of our Fineliner. I will draw the outer lines a little bit thicker here. And on the other side, of course, too. And now we can draw also a few stones around the lake, create here also darker areas by drawing some points. Just use the tip of your fineliner, put it on paper a few times, and then you have these points. If you draw more points in one area, then of course this area will become darker. So you can choose how dark it would be by drawing a few more points there. And as you see, we get another shadow effect here. And now we start with our trees. I just draw a straight line over here, like that. And now from this line on, I will draw some lines to define the shape of the tree. I use the line in the middle as the start, and then some lines in different lengths on the one side and then also on the other side. And then of course we draw also the other tree over here, same way. We use first the middle line, so I draw first the middle line and then draw again the shape of the tree by drawing several lines here. And I draw also a few more lines over and over again so that the tree becomes darker and darker. As you can see, you can use this technique to draw the trees. This is a technique where we draw them very detailed, and I draw them on the one side now a little bit darker, because on the other side I will draw the other tree. But this here is only one way how we can draw trees. You can use also a simple shape to draw a tree, so I can show it how you can do it also another way if you don't have or you don't want to spend this much time by drawing a tree. You just take the shape of a tree, draw it like I do it here, and then just fill it with a black color, and that's it. But I'm doing here a little bit more detailed because I wanted to show you how you can draw this kind of trees a little bit more in detail. And again, we use here the same lines, and for bigger trees it takes a little bit more time, of course. And of course I need a little bit more lines here to create a darker area. This is a bigger tree, so I have to draw more lines, and it takes a little bit more time. And I use again a sheet of paper here, so I don't smudge the lines that I've drawn till now. I now would also add some more details over here. Make the trees on this side a little bit darker. And now I also will draw this circle here. And here I wanted you to show that you can also leave here some areas free. And here I can draw the line through the other circle, or I can leave again a hole in the line. Like I said, you can create here different geometries, use different lines, and use also another geometrical shape next to this one to maybe create another landscape. But for now, I would say I'm now finished with this drawing. So as you can see, you can use different kind of lines, points or straight lines to create darker areas, to create shapes. As I said, you can here experiment a little bit with different shapes, different shading techniques, and create maybe other drawings. Try maybe to draw some hills maybe, or a mountain with a moon, or a sea. So for me, the only thing that is left to do now is to erase the sketch, but be very careful here. Let the drawing also dry a little bit so that you don't smudge the lines with your eraser. Carefully erase the pencil strokes, and also be careful not to rub the eraser too hard over the paper, as it might wrinkle or tear. Hold it firmly with both hands so it doesn't get crinkled or creased. And that's it. You now have a finished artwork that you can put in a frame or use for something else. As I said, you can play around with these elements. You can shape the mountains differently, or you can only draw the sun and the mountains, leave the trees with less details. I've presented a few different shading techniques now, but you can experiment with this. You can of course also go in more detail or less, but in any case, we are pretty much done with this artwork for now.
I hope you enjoyed my video. So if you want more tutorials about drawing, painting or creativity in the future, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and newsletter. Also feel free to check out my drawing courses on DrawTut.com. You can find the links in the description. If you want to be creative right now, I have some more videos for you over here. I hope you continue to have fun drawing, and I look forward to joining you on your creative journey.